Hi, this is Richard the Legend Board Game Fanatic, and today I got a few things to bring out, and we'll get started with this video. First thing is, I got this new shirt, meeple shirt from my sister for my 60th birthday. So I hit the 60-year mark. I can't believe it's been that long. Been loving board games for pretty much since I was a little kid. But I've really gotten to different variety of board games in the last, probably starting in COVID. And I kind of brought up the first game that I ever played with my nephews was Talisman. That was the one that kind of escalated it at the point. That game was amazing. They made it. And we'll talk more about Talisman in a little bit. But also, I've been really busy moving stuff around for my daughter. Expecting a phone call from her. Expecting grandson very soon. Pray that he's healthy and my dog does well in the pregnancy. But I'm really excited about that, and that's going to be a big addition to our family. So I can't wait to play board games with him when he gets old enough. You know, and hopefully we'll be around for a while to enjoy him growing up. But I want to say thank you for all you people that have subscribed to my site, and I think Hooky M. Thank you for subscribing, and I hope you enjoyed the channel. Today, after my 152nd video, been a while. Been doing a lot of games. One of my subscribers said he would like to see a top 10. So I'm going to start doing top 10 videos here, starting today. And today we're going to be doing competitive games. Now, competitive games are my favorite, mainly because my nephews love competitive games. I like competition. I love golf, love playing pool, love dancing, people dancing wise, and also cooking. So I like to improve my cooking. So there's a lot of competition there. But I had to pick my top 10. That was really hard. Now my top 10 has nothing to do with any type of other lists that come out at any other internet site. These are basic games that I think are the best. And I will have a few honorable mentions before I start the top 10. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I will give the pros and cons of each, what I recommend, how many players should be, and a little review of the game, so you know what it's about and so forth. So hope you enjoyed the video. And if you like these top 10 videos, the next one I will be doing is cooperative games. So I'll be doing that, like maybe do one playthrough and then one more top 10 till I get all the ones that I want to do through. So let's get started with our first honorable mention. So the first honorable mention I have is Earth. This is my first honorable mention. It's made by Inside Up Games. They are producing a new expansion to it called Abundance, and I'm getting it. It's going to have a new resource come out, and I'm pretty excited about it. The main thing I like about this game is this very high replayability, because the game you have each person gets an island of a different type. They're all different. They have different weather cards that will be used for each person, and then also ecosystems. Now when you first start playing the game, the first thing you want to do is probably just use the island and the weather. That's what's recommended. And then you can start using ecosystems. Ecosystems will be used, and they give you a lot more variety of making other points, and it spreads out the game a little bit, and you need to really concentrate on something that so you can make his max points out to beat the other players. But this is a 1 to 5 player game. It's around 45 minutes they say, but I'm telling you, if you have up 3 players, maybe I'd say 2 hours instead. The time is kind of a little low on the box. If you have 4 players, you're looking more like maybe 3 hours. And if you have a maximum of 5, it's going to be around 2.5 to 3 hours. Oh wait, I'm sorry. 3 hours to 4 hours, I figured. And that's what what we've seen when we've been playing this game. The main reason why is when you have someone who hasn't played this game before, there's so many variety of cards. These are all the cards that are available. You don't get, and I'm telling you, you will not get through the deck during the game. Alright, so let me give you the pros and actions. I think it's recommended if you want a somewhat 2 to 3 hour game. It's looking like 3 players would be the best. If you don't care and you want to spend the time with your friends, 4 to 5 hours, you can do 4 to 5 players. Okay, so the pros. Like I said, there's hundreds and hundreds of cards here, and they're all different. So it's going to give you somewhat of a replayability, and there's also randomness to it because you're not going to get all the good cards. So you have to pick and choose. Now, the good thing about this is this game, with the cards you're not going to use, you take cards and put them in your decomposed pile. The decomposed pile will give you points, 1 for each card that you put in your decomposed pile. So that will give you a point for each card you don't use. So that's pretty cool. The pictures on the cards are really nice. They have all the pictures of all the plants and animals and different islands, pictures of islands and different weather conditions. So it's kind of cool. A lot of different effects for the cards. You're going to do a 4x4 matrix, and when the first person who finishes the 4x4 matrix, we'll stop the game and then get one more round, and then you score your points. Okay. One good thing about the game, normally a lot of these games you have to wait for the next player to finish. Well, during each person's turn, everybody's going to get something. So it's dependent on what color cards he's using, what kind of actions he's doing. He's going to pick one action, 4 actions. You have the green, you have the orange, you have the blue, and you have the yellow. Actually, they all different. They have different. You may have growth. You may have getting cards. You may be playing a card. You may be getting sprouts. So like these are the growths, and you will build these on your cards, and you get points for that. And you basically take the first one's the no color, and then you bring your this one's on the top. So you gradually, you have more. If the card has 3 growths, you just put it like that, and you get points for those points on the card. You also have sprouts that you put on your cards that gives you points. So what else? And there are numerous ways of getting bonuses. You're going to have bonus on your player mat. You're going to have bonuses dealing with your sprouts and your growths and soil. And then I think it's one of my top family games because it's not really that complicated. It could be, depending on what age group. I would recommend from 10 up because you do have to read the cards and determine what the symbols and all that stuff. So 10 and up probably a good starting point for this game. But they say 14 and up, so maybe that's probably better. 14 and up. And it's a quick setup. It's a very quick setup. You shuffle your cards, get all your resources together, and it doesn't take that long to set up. Maybe 5 minutes at the most. So those are the pros. The cons, depending on how many players you have, may take. Some people you play with may take longer because they want every turn to be count. Like I know one of my nephews, he is kind of like that. So it may take longer with the gameplay that way. The randomization of the cards, you may not get the cards you want. Every game's going to be different. It's happened to me before where I didn't get the cards I really wanted. I had to pick and choose what I wanted to try to do, and sometimes I wouldn't get the other cards I needed. and I didn't want to not have my 4x4 done before the other person is, because then you won't get as many points. So it does. That's one thing that's kind of frustrating a little bit. But that is Earth, and you're basically trying to make the best ecosystem you can, and it's depending on how many victory points you make. So that is Earth. That's our first notable mention. A lot of notable mentions I'm going to be mentioning. There's 3 of them that are kind of similar. This is based on an ecosystem, and you're building your island. So we'll go on to the next one, and we'll explain that one next. So hopefully that is Earth, and that's one of my, that is not part of my top 10, but it's like maybe 12. Well, the second notable game that I like, and it's not one of my top 10, but it's right there, really close, is Everdell. Now, Everdell, there is one other extra expansion. Well, there's 2 extra expansions. There's one for co-op, and there's another one that has a railroad that goes on this side of the board. But this is nice. I mean, the basic one comes with a tree. You have a bunch of different cards you can use to play. And the whole object is you're making your own city in Everdell, and you try to get the best city that produces the most resources, and you get the most experience points. So there are Belfair, excuse me, and this one upgrades it to 5 to 6 players instead of 4 players. Normally it's 4 players. So you can have up to 6 players playing. Probrook is kind of like a ocean part area where you get pearls, a different resource, and you can put that together with the main basic set. Or you have Spider Crest, and that's a mountain area that goes in the front, and you're traveling through there, getting more victory points, more resources, and so forth through there. And it's kind of like an RPG, going through, traveling through this thing and trying to get through different seasons. What I found out though is I tried to use all the expansions together, and it just took too long, way too long, and it was too much together. So I recommend, if you do decide to get the expansion sets, you can use Belfair because it's used for 5 to 6 players, and then use 1 extra expansion. I wouldn't use all of them because if you decide you want to use them all and spend 8 hours playing, go for it. That's what I found out when we used all of them. And my family, it took forever. It really did. But this game I love this game. You have resources, you have little meeples you use, everybody gets a different type of animal, and you build a group of, I think it's 15 cards. Yeah, 15 cards. It's kind of like Earth. You have a matrix of 15 cards. So 3 rows of 5. And there's ways of taking cards out of your city and putting new ones in. There's different cards that can do it. There's not all the cards are different. It's maybe 3 or 4, maybe 4 copies of each. So there's more chances you can get the cards you want. You also have a section of cards that you have a total of 8 cards that are used for everybody, and then you have your own cards in your hand, and you can only have up to I think 7 cards. But it's a great game. I love this game. My family loves it. This is another one of my top family games for the family. And this, let's see what's making. I don't remember what it's recommended for. Let's see what this tells you. Up to 10. You can have ages 10 and above. So this is a really cool game, and it's got cute art. I like the art and so forth. So let's do the pros. Beautiful art. All the different expansions have beautiful art on them, on the boards and the cards. All the resources are really nice. They're like wood is wood. You got your rubies. You have rubies. I forgot to put those out. They're like plastic, but they're clear. And then you have your pebbles, and you got your nice looking berries that's kind of squeezable and kind of cute. And like I said, you can change the expansion around to change the game a little bit. It gives you more replayability. Like I said, it's a great family game. Many options of how to play the cards and the meeples. Plus, if you get the building first, there's a good chance you can get one of the critters for free. So that's one thing you want to look for. All right. And what else? And then you have random points that come onto the top of the board and also onto the back here, depending on which expansion you use. And those are going to give you extra points. But the other expansion for the co-op, I don't really like it, mainly because I don't think this is a game that I recommend to play cooperative. It's more of a competitive game. You're going against everybody else. It's more fun that way, in my opinion. And but it's a great game. I mean, the art, everything. Oh my God! I mean, even the gameplay is really cool. So you can look at my. I got a video of this game on online. One thing I forgot to do was to show you the cards. So I may redo that video to show the cards and what each card's purpose is. Kind of showing you what the symbols are on them so you understand how it's played. But otherwise, I will put all my videos into my description for each one of these games I'm describing. So you can go back and look at them if you want. So that is Everdell. That's one of my notable mentions. So we have 2 more. So let's get to the next one. All right, the next one I have is from Stonemaier Games. It's Wingspan. This is a very famous game, very popular on Board Game Geek. There's a new one called Wingspan. To be don't get confused. That's about dragons. It's the same premise as this game. It's got different resources and maybe some different parts of the game. But this is the basic placemat for each player. Then we also have from the I'm blocking the other expansions. So we also have the one from the Oceanic expansion that comes with the nectar resources. We have all the resources here. We have nectar, cherries, wheat, fish, worms, and looks like rodents. And then we have our eggs. And one thing about this game is there's all these different type of birds, and they're all different cards. For all the different birds, you will get cards in your hand, and you will decide which cards you're going to play, and you're going to place them on these boards. And each one is a different type. It's either in trees, in the like plains, or in the water. So depending on where you want to play them, it's depending on which bird they are. If they're a water bird, they're going to be placed on the bottom. Plain birds are going to be placed here, and then you're going to have these. And each individual one gives you a specific, when you play that card, or when you play the specific section, you will get that specific ability that's on that specific board. So it's also kind of the same thing. You're doing your own bird conservatory, a bird sanctuary, and you're trying to develop the best one possible. You're trying to get them to lay eggs. You're going to get them to have their specific abilities. And each time you place another card, you're going to do all the cards in a row and basically get everything that you want to do. So that is basically a review of Wingspan, but it's a really good game. It's amazing. My brother-in-law, and my sister love this game because they're really into birds. They even got the on the bottom, and sometimes have text on there talking about the specific bird and what they do. It's interesting. There are one from Asia birds, and we have our ocean birds, and then we have one from Europe. So those ones there all get upgraded into here. We got lots of cards, lots of them. These are all the cards, you know, and it depends on, each game's gonna be different, what cards you're gonna get, what research you're gonna use, and then they also have specific objectives that you have to do every round. You have may have some special cards for your end of game bonus that you can be doing. You may get more end of game bonuses to get more points. You keep those secret from the other players. With the Asian expansion, it does come up with upgrade. Normally it's 1 to 5 players, but you can go up to 6 to 7. 5 plays a lot, and each person does a turn. So it takes, I recommend 3 to 4 players probably is a good amount, maybe around 3 hours. Anything with 5 players or above, you're probably looking at about 5 hours to finish the game. So depending on what you're planning to do. Okay, so this is but otherwise, pros. High replayability. Every game's different. All numerous amount of cards. Auto randomization. The mechanics are awesome. With all the other games I've talked about so far, all the mechanics are great for all the games that I've showed you so far. That's a pro I haven't brought up on the other two, but the mechanics are really good. When you get to learn a game, it's really fun, and just being around family or friends and stuff and talking. I think this is better than playing a video game because you don't have any interaction as much. I think playing games on a board game, not watching on the TV, is much better. I've never really liked arcade games. I do have PlayStation. I have not played it since I started playing board games extensively, so once in a while I get bored and I'll put one in, but you know, it's just a matter of preference to me. But these are all card games. The last new honorable mention is not a card game, so we will bring that up next. This game I have shown on my channel too. I will link that up in my description also. So hopefully, if you have any questions about any games I'm showing you, if you have any questions about specific things I don't mention, just put it in the comment section. I will get back to you on those. But hopefully this is informative, and I really love these eggs. Don't eat them. They're not candy. They're plastic. So, all right. So let's get on to the last honorable mention, and we'll get to our top 10. Well, the next one I have is from Stonemaier Games. Also, it's called Tapestry. This game, kind of like kind of a civilization game, but a little bit different. Everybody starts out with a placemat that you start maker of fire. This is your basically what each age is going to be, and there are different ages that you do, and it's like different cards that you will get, and you will pick which one you want to use. It's got a specific ability, and you would place it for each cycle, and you would go back all the way down to the last cycle. Those are the Tapestry cards. You also have a bunch of tracks around the board. Technology, you have exploration, you have science, and you have military. Depending on what you decide to start doing, it's going to maneuver the board around. You're going to get specific abilities. You're going to also add things to your board, your map. If you're going to invade, you're going to be using that. You're also going to get a map of some kind that you will be putting buildings on. And these are some of the buildings that you'll be getting. Depending on cards or on specific tracks that you land on them, and you're the first person to get there, you'll get that building, you'll get to place it on here. You're also going to get a bunch of buildings on this top level, and you have your markets, you have your houses, your armories, and your farms. And when you get to grab all those off, you will place it onto your board also. You want object of these boards is to fill them in and if you fill the full sector in, you get extra resource. And you start filling all these across or this way, they give you some special bonuses during each cycle. So that's, each one's different, every map's different, and there's certain ones for different expansions. We do have 2 of the expansions here. There's more, but the other ones are sold out right now. I can't get them, but it's a great game. I love it. There's a lot to do. But the pros is it's a lot of replayability in this game. The art is really cool. The buildings are really nice. All the different powers you can get for your specific group that you're using will have, everyone's different. You also have technology you build, and you do bonuses, and you randomly get different abilities, different buildings, and so forth for the technologies. And it's also based on victory points, so whoever gets the most victory points at the game, at the end of the game wins. So, plus you can also get space, go to space if you do enough science, and, or exploration I should say. If you get all the way to exploration, you get special tiles, they'll give you bonuses, and plus you may get some extra victory points for those too. So, this is the pros. Pretty much the art, the game mechanisms are really nice. The technology is really cool. Everything about this game is really cool. The mechanics are really cool. The only thing is, this does take a long time. So if you decide to play this game, I would probably plan to purchase the Tapestry Basic set first. Try that. If you really like it, then you might purchase the other expansions. Sometimes the game, depending on who you're playing with, I know there's certain people that take a long time during their turn and may have a little longer turn than the other people will. So there is some time that maybe elapse and you'll be sitting there for a little bit. That's the only thing about these certain games with tracks and stuff like that, and make a decision. May take a while. So just keep that in mind. Otherwise, I don't see any negativity in this game. I really love these games. All the stuff, all the Stone Miner games that I've gotten are high class. All the components are really good. For example, viticulture is really good. It's not one of my top games, but it's one. Scythe is really good. All these Stone Miner games that I've purchased are all good games. Wingspan's a Stone Miner game. So, but that is one of my honorable mentions. I'd lied to you. There's a few more honorable mentions I have. I think there's a total of let's see, 2 more, and then we'll get to our top 10. So sorry about that. All right, so that is Tapestry. All right, guys. The next honorable mention I have is Lords of Waterdeep. This game is based on the D&D's stories and so forth. Mainly you're a lord and you're trying to build as much, get as many people to recruited and build buildings and getting what do you call them, intrigue, so you can be the most powerful, get more gold than everyone else, get as many quests done and completed as possible. And that's mainly the game, and you go around and you get victory points. So each person's going to get a board, and specifically what color, whatever the color is, and you will complete quests. You will have plot quests that you will complete, and then you will get special abilities to do. If you get that ability and you do something during the game, it may help you get some more resources, or a card, or an entry card, or some quests, or whatever else. You will have active quests. You will have, you put your completed quest here, except for the plot quest will go on the side. You will have agents. You will start with a bunch of agents. You will collect one more agent on round 5, and these there's a total of 8 rounds. And the amount of players that can play this game are a total of 6, because with the upgrade you can have up to 6 players. That's the Skullport expansion, and it has another resource on there for corruption. And these are 2 boards that are used for that, and you can put meeples onto those 2 boards also. You got spaces on the board here you can put your meeples on, and you basically move around board, complete quests, get enough of these. You got you got your wizards, purple, you have your thieves, you have your clerics, and then you have your warriors, orange. So depending on which quest you get, it's going to give you a certain number of colored blocks you need, and it will give you a reward of so many victory points, or maybe some gold, or maybe a card, or sometimes a special ability that you can do right away, instantaneously. But this is a great game. I love this game. It's not too difficult, and it's 12 plus, I think. Yeah, 12 years old and well, I think it's a good family game. Not any violence involved in it. It's just basically doing quests and getting resources, you're building city, buildings you put on the board, you get extra spaces put on there. I think the pros of this game is it's very simple to play. It's not that hard, difficult to play. The art, everything that's on the cards are really nice. You got like different pictures of all these different type of things from D&D. If you're really into the D&D thing, I used to be when I was in elementary school and stuff. I used to play with my friends a lot. Not so much anymore. I just like board games. But this is about as close as you get to D&D on a board game as possible. There are a few other ones that are out there. I haven't played those yet, but this is one of my favorites. And even my nephews love this game. And it's not hard to learn. It's good for 2 to 5 players. It doesn't take too long. You just basically get your agents on the board, and after you do it, you clear all them off, and then you go and do the next round, and you keep going on until you finish up to 8 rounds, and you total your victory points, and whoever gets the most victory points wins the game. So not much to it. The thing about the intrigue cards is it harms other people, so you can get resources from them. You may take give them a quest that they need to do before they can do any other regular quest. May take intrigue cards from them. Maybe let them lose their turn. They may lose resources. All kinds of things. So I really love this game. This is one of my I'd say top I'd say 14, from 14 and below. These are probably one of my favorite games that I have out here. Out of my 49. So that's honorable mention. We have one more honorable mention left, and we'll start on our top 10. Okay. The last honorable mention I have is Lost Ruins of Arnak. This is a really popular game too. It comes with, I have the one expansion, Expedition Leaders. Pretty good expansion. But let's talk about the basic game first. So basic game, you're an explorer and you go find this lost ruins. And the object is you want to try to explore ruins, and there are some type of investigator type people that are around the area that you can get to help you develop more resources and get you through the temple. And this is the temple here on this side. We do have a separate expansion temple you can put on overlay over this, make it a little bit different. We also have characters in the Expedition Leader that have specific abilities. I recommend before you start playing the Expedition Leaders is I would play the game a few times before you start, because each person has ability and you want to get confused about what you could be doing. So you want to plan. I would plan playing the basic game first. Basically, you start with, it's a card building game, deck building game, and you have 5 cards. You have a funding card, an exploration card. The funding card gives you instant gold if you want to use it, or you get a car symbol. You also have expedition that gives you a compass, or you can use it for a boat movement. You get 2 exploration cards, excuse me. You get 2 funding cards, and you get a fear card. The fear card doesn't do much except it gives you a boot and for movement, and also a -1 victory point. So you want to get rid of these fear cards when you can. Okay, so that's what you start with. The way you get new cards is by artifacts and by items, and we have a total of 5 rounds. So basically, we do all our actions. We use all our resources we can use if we want to use all the resources to do actions. You have 2 meeples to start with, and that's basically, most people have 2 meeples, so you're going to use these guys to move to spaces on the board to get resources or go to one of these ruin spaces. Now when you go to a ruin space, there's idols there, and you basically get to flip those over, and it'll give you a specific ability. And then you place these onto you will place them onto your board, and then later on, if you wanted to, you could flip it over, and you get a specific one of these bonuses here on your board. You can get gold, compass, a tablet. You can move, refresh one of your investigators. Get rid of a fear card or any card, and then you could replace a. Let's say you could place a tablet for upgrade to arrowhead or a gem. Same with these guys. Compass can get up to a tablet. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't upgrade these guys. Compasses and gold you can't get upgraded. So it's just the tablets, the arrowheads, and the gems. Okay? And these give you 3 victory points each. So you'll be collecting victory points from your idols. You also collect victory points from monsters. Whenever you go to a ruined space, you'll get a monster. And if you conquer this monster via the resources you have to develop on him, you also get a special ability for that guy, and you also get 5 points for that specific monster for each monster you kill. So that's kind of cool. You also can travel via using resources. Going up this thing, you're going to use your book first and move up, and then you can move your magnifying glass up, and you keep going up here to all the way to the top. The top's going to have specific tablets here that stones that you can get points for, and collect more victory points. But it is a really great game. It's a resource management, deck building game. You get different cards here you can pick from. You have to have enough gold. You develop when you get gold. You can pay for the items. If you want an artifact, you pay via compasses. So those are the 2 currency that we have in the game. And depending on where you go, it's got a specific. It's either got a car, a ship, or you can do 2 ships, or a plane can go anywhere. It can go to a boat or a car. It doesn't matter which one you do. But you will need, for the 2 ones, you always need to have 2 planes, or 2 cars, or 2 boats. And you can't switch boats and cars together because they're the same. Alright, so that's basically the overview of the game. I don't want to go too much into it. So you're just collecting resources, collecting investigators, moving up the temple, getting victory points, and so forth. You get victory points via cards too. The victory points are listed on the cards. So at the end of the game, you're going to count all your cards out, and all the total points on where you're at on the temple, which level you're on, you can get points, and all your idols that you have on your board. and all your monsters you defeated. So after I total those all up, and whoever gets the most wins the game. Pros. As always, replayability of this game is amazing because you can, you know, trade in for a specific character, get this ability, and it's going to change the game a little bit. You can change overlay for this, it's going to change the game. But also the cards, you're not going to see every one of these bases. You're not going to see all of them, so you won't see all of them every game. Depends on how you move the game. You're going to concentrate on this. You're going to concentrate on moving into the ruins. Concentrate on the temple. It's really dependent on what you want to do. But a lot of replayability. The art is pretty decent. The pictures on the cards are really cool. The card building is awesome. And the more cards you have, the better cards you have, the more versatility of what you can do in actions. So it's pretty cool. It's 1 to 4 players, I think. Yeah, 1 to 4 players. Game doesn't take too long, maybe 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours at the most. Decent game. I think it's a family game. I found anybody below 12 and above is good. And this is another family game I'm probably on my family list. So that is our honorable mention, our last honorable mention. So now let's go to our top 10 games, all our competition games that I have that I like the most out of all 49. So I hope you like my picks, and those I'll be a little more extensive on. These are just my honorable mentions, wanted to go through them. And if you have any questions about any honorable mentions or anything that I didn't cover, please, like I said before, just hit the comment section and I will respond to you as soon as possible. Okay? Thank you. Well, everyone, this is number 10 of our 10 favorite competitive games. This one is Abomination. It's made by Hat Games. Excuse me. And it's based on the Frankenstein story, but it's a continuation of the story because at the end of the Frankenstein novel, the Frankenstein monster disappears. Well, we come back to Paris, and a bunch of these scientists have got these letters saying that they want that to come to develop a monster of some kind, and there's a person who's giving them money to fly over here or to get over here to Paris and develop this monster, and whoever gets the monster built first basically gets all the money from this person and becomes one of the richest scientists in the world. So basically the money you're getting is basically victory points like any other game we have. But this is a different type of game because you travel around and the object is to develop your humanity, your reputation, and your expertise. And wherever that's directed to, what your values on those, you will get to do specific things like trying to find bones, muscle, organs, developing those for the monsters so we can develop different parts of the body. And basically each person gets a placemat like this that has the 3 characteristics on it. We also have, you will start building body parts, and basically when you start a body part, there's a reference card that basically goes through your head, torso, arm, and leg, depending on what you need. And most of these things will need muscle, organs, and bone to start out with. When you start completing a body part to make it alive, you need to get blood, and then more organs, more muscle. So it takes some time to build them, but you develop. You get victory points for each time you develop a step of that part. So then you put it onto your board. And that's basically the premise of the game. You want to develop it, you want to put every single thing alive. When you get your monster alive, basically the game stops at that point. Everybody gets one more turn, and whoever gets the most victory points at the end wins. Okay. Now there's a bunch of things that you have to know about this game. There's first of all, you will start out with one scientist and two assistants to start out with, but you do have available some more scientists. You have 3 more scientists and 1 more assistant that will help you out. The more of those you have, the more actions you can take per round. Every round develops we will have an event or an encounter. Basically in the back of the backstory, it's really Frankenstein monster who's bringing these scientists over. So he's kind of lonely. He wants to have his own, has somebody else accompany him, so they develop the body that way. And what's good about this game and replayability is the amount of event cards we have. We have a total of 19, and then we have 14 encounter cards. And when you start, you will shuffle these cards and divvy up 9 event cards, and you will develop for encounters. You will take out 4. So out of those total bunch of cards, you're only going to take a few of those out. So every game is going to be a different story of some magnitude. And there are also story things in the back of the rule book that you will use if it tells you to go back in the rule book, and you will read those. And it will tell you what you have to do and so forth like that. But you have different places. You have the all the different places you can get components for your body. You also have places where you can increase your characteristics, and also collect money so you can purchase bodies from some non-reputable places. You also get bonus points for your bonus objectives, and those are random. There's more than just 4. There's I think there's about 7 of them. You shuffle them and you put specifically the ones you want to put down. I'd randomly put those down. Basically, you move around the board, and specific spots you cannot do without having your characters at a certain level. So you have to remember that. You also have to make sure, because you have stages where you purchase your organs and all your bones. You don't have to worry about bones because they're going to be stored in a different area. You have a maximum of 12 bones. You also could sell parts to the market and get coins for them, so you can purchase other stuff if they're getting too old, like stage 4. But it depends where you go, what stage the body parts are at. You place those body parts into your little squares here, and every round you're going to decrease in quality. The one thing you can do is get some ice. The ice will keep that organ stable for 1 round, and then you will flip it over. You have one more, you have the big ice, and then you have, so basically 2 rounds total. You can purchase ice at the market, and you can preserve those for 2 turns, so you don't have to worry about them going bad. And if they're better quality, the more points you get. Let's see, what else? And there's a variety of different characters you can scientists, and depending on which one you have, they have a backstory in the back, and then also you place your people here. You also have an ability, for example, serve Reginald Graham. That's once per round. You may roll 1 extra grade die when throwing the switch or charge the landing jar at any other time. And when you have your body parts and they're already ready to be charged and go to life, you have dice. You have some blue dice and some gray dice. The gray dice are normal dice that you use, and it depends on how many of these what are they called again? Landing jars. These will charge, depending on, you can charge them via charge your leading jars, and you flip them over and they're charged. So then every one of these will give you 2 dice. So you roll the dice, and it's got these lightning bolts that will cause damage to a body part. So you would have to place a damage token like these spark tokens on here. If you get 2 on one organ, the organ it deteriorates, and you have to get another organ. Another leg or another arm or whatever. If you do the eye, that means it's alive. And this will give you 1, that's humanity. So you would decrease your humanity characteristic with this specific dice. But the blue dice are better because all they have is lightning bolts and the eyes. You get 2 eyes on both of these dice. So it's more of a chance with the blue die that you will get the body part alive. So that's kind of cool. Now the pros and cons. The pros, there's numerous pros. Replayability is one. The second thing is the quality of the game is amazing. Everyone that's played this game loves it. There's so many things going on. So many variety of actions, so many variety of getting what you want, how you're going to get your body parts, how you're going to do it. You can do it so many different ways to play the game. Like any other game that has victory points, anytime that has spaces and meeples, you have to choose your actions. Sometimes spaces will be blocked by using these tokens via the story. So there's sometimes you won't have a chance to get a specific space. But the replayability of this game is amazing. The art is amazing. The story is really cool. What else? And just playing this game is fun. It seems like it doesn't take that long, but it is a long game. I figure with 4 players, you can. It's about 3 hours to 4 hours, depending on who you're playing with. If you're playing with somebody that's new, it may take longer because they're going to take their time deciding what they're going to do, and it's going to take forever because you have to wait for the person to do his turn. All these games, that's the one con that I think is on a lot of these games. You really need to maybe put a time limit on it, where people have to a certain amount of times, because you don't want to be. Some people get bored and they just say, "Well, I'm not going to wait around for this guy because it's taking forever and it's getting boring, whatever." So you want to keep the interest. So, but if you play with people who have already played this game, it's pretty cool. No, not too much time. Just one of my nephews, he's always thinking about every move. So that's the only problem we have in our family is there's one guy and he knows who he is. And but otherwise, it's a great game. It's one of my top 10 of all time so far that I've purchased. Was really glad to get this game. I saw this on what's this game? It's on the Board Game Geek channel. But I saw it, I fell in love with it, and that's why I purchased it. But that is the premise of Abomination. I hope you enjoyed the explanation. If you have any other questions about this game, please put them in the comments, and I will relay to you as soon as possible. But that is Abomination. So let's go to number 9. Well, number 9. The game that started it all. This game is amazing. I would put it up top, higher up, but there's so many good games, and it's really hard to determine which game is better. This game has so much replayability than any game I own, because there's so many things you can do to this game. First thing is, you will start with one character. All the characters I have are right here. All these. A lot of different characters. Everyone has a different ability. Everyone has a different miniature. Everyone starts at a different spot. Okay, so that's the first thing you have. A lot of replayability by characters. Alright, so basically what we do normally is we choose 2 two characters each, and they pick one and we discard it. And normally, sometimes you'll lose your character will die. So we pick another character from the top of the pile after I shuffle them. The second thing that makes it replayability is normally the objective of this game is to get to the center of the board. That's the premise of the basic game. But there are now, because of all the expansions I have, and just so you know, there are 15 expansions of this game. 15. I have every single one. The new Talisman that just came out is nothing compared to the old one made by Fantasy Flight. Fantasy Flight made the best Talisman ever. Okay, I'm sorry, but the new one that came out, they come out with these huge cards, and to me it's kind of ridiculous because I don't know how you're going to fit everything on the board, on the table. But this game has so many different cards and so many different places you can go to develop your characters. It's insane. And the object is you start in one spot, you roll a dice, you go that many spaces, and you do what the space tells you. Draw a card. And depending on what's happening in that specific region, you will pick a specific card. Normally it's be a basic adventure card, and we have hundreds and hundreds of those. So the replayability is amazing. I can't stress that enough. But the main thing, the objective, is to get to the center of the board. But there are ones that you can change the whole thing. There's objectives that basically give you something else you have to do. So for example, let me just take one of the reveal type ones. And it says here, Wanderlust it's called. It says during setup, instead of setting up the path deck as normal, shuffle the path deck and place it next to this card. Whenever a character enters dungeon, the highland, the city, or the woodland, he draws a random path card from the top of the deck. When a character with a path resolves the treasure room, the area, or the town square, or the meaning of destiny space for the first time, he places the current path face down in this play area. If a character is killed, he keeps all of his face down path cards. The first player to reach the crown of command with 3 or more face down paths in his play area wins the game. So the objective, first you need to get 3 paths. And that they're talking about the paths with the forest. The forest has specific paths you have to, when you enter it, you have to get a path. And when you get to the end, you can face, if you complete the path, you get a destiny card and gives you abilities to make your character stronger. So that's one thing. Basically, you're trying to increase your character. You start a starting craft, that's your spell casting, and your string casting. So you will collect craft and string from different monsters you attack and conquer. And then you add those, and you get 7 total of that from different cards. You can bring up one more string or one more craft, depending on which type of monsters they are. If they're craft monsters, you're going to get a craft, and if they're strength monsters, you get a strength. So that is one way. That's one thing. Or you can just play with the crown of command, go to the center of the board. Okay, that's one way. The next way is with the unrevealed one. So basically, we take one of the unrevealed, and you decide the first part of the game what you're going to play. You can play either revealed or unrevealed, or just the center of the board. Okay, so let's say we do unrevealed. So this is going to be there till they enter the crown of command. You will never know what that item is until you get there. So when we enter the center, the first person that goes there flips the card, and this one's called Demon Lord. A character on the crown of command must attack the Demon Lord using craft. Each time he defeats the Demon Lord, he must remove one of the Demon Lord's lives and immediately attack him again. If a character is defeated or has standoff, his turn ends and he must attack the Demon Lord at the start of his next turn. If a character removes the Demon Lord's last life, he wins the game. If there are no characters on the crown command, the Demon Lord heals all his lives. Characters may not cross the portal of power or to the plane of peril while a character is on the crown command. So that means whoever's in the center is going to be attacking this guy. Nobody else can enter. So there's specific things that could happen. Now normally if you do just the center of the board, anybody can come in here. Okay, that's just a basic rule. But with this specific card, it tells you cannot enter till that person's out of there. So there's totally a variety of objectives and stuff like that. You still need to find a talisman. That's what the reason why the name game is not a talisman. You have to have a talisman to enter the port of power to get into here to the center of the board. Okay, so that's basically a lot of replayability. Plus, all these areas on the corners have their own cards. We also have people or characters that travel around the board. We have Death, there's one, and we also have the Wolf. That basically, when there's an event that happens, the night and the day comes in, and it depends on what if it's day or night, because the Wolf gets stronger, and there's specific cards that may come up depend on if it's day or night, and that affects the whole game. Then Death basically has its own thing where if you roll one, just like with the Wolf, you will move him, and the person who moves him will move it towards another character. Then if they go in the same space of a character, you have to re-roll die and basically see what happens. Then there's one character that's a pain in the butt, but it's pretty awesome. Is anytime anybody draws an event card out of any deck, the Harbinger will go enter that space. Whatever region the Harbinger's in, you will have to start drawing Harbinger cards. Those are bad, terrible cards. But it makes the game intense and awesome. This is the only game that I recommend you use all the expansions you have, because the more versatility, the more excitement, it makes it much more fun. And the characters can, every player can attack another character if they want. They can attack a monster. They can do it, cast spells. There's spells that you can get. You get a bunch of different items. You can get allies to help you. You also get horses that can carry supplies for you. All kinds of stuff. This is an amazing game. I don't know if you can still get the one from Fantasy Flight online, but this is an amazing game. I love playing with this bunch of players. And you can play it, I think, up to 5 or 6 players. I have to really make sure about that. But it depends on how the cards go and stuff like that. The game could range from a few hours, a full day, to 2 days. It's happened to us, in my nephews 3 times. It took us 2 days to finish. So it's an amazing game. It's a game that we play. We're gonna play completely for the weekend, basically. They love the game, but like we played it a few weeks ago. One of my nephews died, and we only played for a few hours, so he just gave up. He just said, "Hey, I'm not gonna build another character right away," and that's kind of true. So we did well. We didn't finish it, but it's great. And then also another stipulation is you can be turned into a frog. There's specific ways you can turn into a frog: by events or by magic, by another character casting a spell that causes you to go into a toad. The bad thing about being a toad is you get a toad miniature. You put on. You can only go 1 space per turn, and use all your objects. Everything gets put on the space for 3 turns, and then you can go try to get it back. But you have to have an exact roll to that space to get your stuff back, or somebody else can grab them. And that's, you never want to be a toad. It's pretty bad. But yeah, this game right here is amazing. I love it. That's why I had it on my thing. Solo, I did on solo on my channel. I did show the specific function of the game, but it's much better with multiplayer. That's much more fun. You interact with each other. You attack each other. You can sometimes help others. sometimes you have specific cards that help others and stuff like that. And then the dragon expansion is amazing. You put scales, start putting scales on the spaces. It depends on who the Dragon King is. If you land on that space, you have to take a card from the Dragon deck. Stuff like that. It's amazing. So like, for example, with the board also, the main board, you can, this is the main board here. This is the main basic Crown of Command's center board where you go through and you have to build your craft and your strength to get in there. Or you can play the Dragon Inlay that basically is kind of like, it's the same thing. You got a Crown of Command, you confront the Dragon King. And basically it tells you what you have to do on this one. Or you can do the Dragon Tower where you start drawing dragon cards through here and you have to go through all the way to the top to win. And then you have to conquer the Dragon King at the end. Also, another expansion is the Catechism. This is the normal board. This is the basic board that's started the game. But they put another thing called the Catechism, another board that came out that is basically the same board, except things have happened. The land has got deteriorated by evil, and basically all the different objects and stuff like that are hidden away in the grounds, and there's ways of finding special relics and so forth with this one. So you have to decide which board you want to use. I really like this board, but sometimes we decide on the basic board. It depends on who's playing and what type of board they want. But that's another expansion. So 15 expansions total. Amazing game. I can't stress enough. It's one of my favorite games of all time. This is where it got me into board games, and this is number 9, Talisman. Talking about cons. I did a lot of pros. Cons, the only thing is it may take a while. You know, you don't know exactly how long this game's going to be. You could put a time limit on it. You say, okay, we're going to finish in 6 hours, whatever. And whoever's got the most items, spells, amount of craft, we'll add it all together, like points for each one, and then see who's got the most, and then whoever's got the most points wins. That's basically how you can do it. You have to make agree on terms of what you want to do. But this game is amazing. Amazing game. It's crazy. Yeah, I love playing it. But you have to have at least a weekend to do it. If you really want to play it fully and be done with it. So, that's my spiel on Talisman. So I hope you enjoyed it. Any questions on the game? I will also attach the playthrough that I put in it on that game. Hopefully one of these days I can get enough cameras where we can play a multiplayer game and show you maybe an hour, 2 hours of it, so you guys get the gist of how it goes. So, alright, so we're going to go to now number 8. Well, number 8, Beast of Odin, made by Furland. It's the same company that made Ark Nova. Pretty awesome game. Saw it online. Few people doing playthroughs on it. Looked really complicated at first, but was interested in it. I like these Euro games a lot. My nephews love them a lot. They like complicated games like I do. So this one was amazing. My family loves this game. My sister loves it because she likes placing stuff on mats, and my brother-in-law likes it. My 2 nephews like it, but the thing is, it's a 4-player game, so we only can play 4 players. So it depends on who's in the mood to play. The whole premise of it is you have a group of Vikings, and you are developing your civilization. And each person's going to get this type of player board, and it's got all these negative numbers on here. And you're going to place different resources on here to fill this in. The more you fill in, the less negative points you'll get at the end of the game. You can build, you can grow, You can start doing sheep or cows. You can hunt. You can go whaling. There's so many actions. This is the action board, and this looks kind of, when I first saw it, wow. This is a bunch of actions on here. All these are actions. And depending on how many meeples you use, you will have, like this is 1, 2 meeples, 3 meeples, 4 meeples. You got a whole bunch of meeples you start with, start of the game. And each round has 12 steps. So it kind of, first, when you play this game, it's kind of a little bit intimidating. But after you play maybe 2 or 3 times, you're good to go on this game. There's so many things you can do. You can build ships. The ships determine if you can do whaling, or you can pillage, or you can upgrade. There's a bunch of upgrade things that you have. Specific ships you can upgrade stuff. That really helps out. Because on the main board you can only use green and blue resources. You start with red and orange, and these are all the resources you have. You go from orange to red to blue to green. Oh, I'm sorry, I messed up. It goes orange, red, green, blue. Okay, depending on which ones you get. And that's basically how it works. And the object is upgrade all your resources. You also have map tiles. If you get a certain type of ship, you can get these map tiles and use these to fill these in. It's the same premise as the main board. You have to use red and blue and green for that. But these are very difficult, and plus sometimes you lose a lot of points, so you have to just be very careful in purchasing these. Then you have houses that determine a certain amount of points. You get a certain amount of points for these, and you fill these in. But these are good because you can use orange and red also for those. Orange and red are very important because those are used during the feast, and when you don't have enough feast, you'll lose like -3 points for each square you cannot fill in. So there's a lot of things going on in this game. This right here is basically a bunch of tiles you can get. They're considered blue tiles, but they're very difficult to place in the board because they have different shapes. So you have to really determine which ones you can use. What else we got? We got resources. We have coal, we have stone, we have wood, and we have money, silver. And basically, you also have mountains that you can go and get resources from, and these mountains we'll put out like 2 to start out of. It comes with wood, stone, coal, and some money, silver. And depending on who gets it first, gets it. And every round we put a new mountain out to place. So there's more resources out on the board for everyone. Also, we get our first objective. Everybody gets an objective that they can do, and they get all these yellow cards. So you pick 2 of these, and then pick 1, and then the other one gets discarded. But this is only used for the first part of the game. The rest of the time you'll get brown ones, and there's a bunch of different ones, a lot of them. And it's recommended you start with the A cards first, and then you can go and put all B cards in and put C cards in. But these are all different objectives, and you get extra victory points for those. All right, and then you also you get weapons. You can get some different type of weapons, bows, swords, and so forth. And those are determined for your pillaging, for your whaling, for your trapping, and hunting also. So you can get those resources you need. And then we have 2 dice. One's used for specific those hunting and pillaging stuff, and also orange. The orange one is easier, especially when you have to get a lower number. If you got the lower number for the blue, then you have to use your cards to minus for that. And you want to get the lowest numbers possible when you're doing that. but pillaging, you want the higher number. Okay, and plus, all the objectives, sometimes you don't understand what they are. One good thing is they do have reference sheets here. This is a reference sheet for that. And also there is a appendix item that shows all the cards. And you can look that up and figure out which ones you have. And really good reference cards. This game, the pros in this game is a lot of replayability, especially with the objectives. The way you play the game every time may be different depending on what objectives you have. And every time you want to improve. Because I remember the first game I played, I was at a negative number by the end because I picked too many maps. So I decided later on maybe I should do a different strategy. And I did, and I got higher and higher. The last time I played, I got 53 points. Still didn't win, but doing better every time. So that's approval, and that's what I like to do is improve. What other pros I got? I mean, it's a fun game with 4 players. It's on 2 hours, 3 hours. It's a lot shorter game than most of the games that I have. It's a good game to do when you don't have much time. And everybody in my family enjoys it, so except for my daughter, she doesn't really enjoy the board games anyway as much as my nephews do. But I love them. So it's a passion of mine. But what else? Cons. When you first start playing this game, it's kind of, like I said, intimidating. Getting to know the different actions, knowing how to upgrade. Watching other players play, that will help. One thing is you have to remember is when he plays meeples on a specific action, you can't use that action. Except for the 4-player game, you get to use another space that would duplicate an action that somebody just did. So there's a chance you can do it. But just looking at how other people play, that helps you do better. Doing one recommendation in this game that I want to tell everyone is you always want to fill this out. This should be filled out. This is a priority. If you fill this all out, you won't have any negative points. You have a lot of more positive points. And plus you get more income every time you go up the thing. There's a specific way you need to place your things. You have to fill in the squares all the way through here before you can go up. If you can fill all these up like straight across that, like all the columns together, but you can't have something on one column and you have empty areas on the bottom. You can't do that. So you need to fill everything in. So and plus green, you cannot be adjacent to another green. So you need blues are the ones you really want to have because those can be placed anywhere adjacent. You can use coal on the map. You can use coins on the map. So that's another way to space those greens out, so you don't have to keep upgrading all blues. But I really like this game. It's a little more complicated than most of the games I have, but it's fun. It's really fun to improve, and every time I improve, I'm excited to play it again. So this is out on Amazon. You can purchase it. This is a really popular game. A lot of people, every time I go online, it always seems to be sold out. Luckily, I got my opportunity to get one in one of the boxes. But if you ever have a chance to play this game, this is an amazing game. And hopefully you guys can try it yourself. But that is Feast of Odin. And if you want to look at the playthrough I did, I think I did a playthrough on this game. I have to look on online. I think I did. I may have. If I didn't, I may do that soon. Just play like a fictional 2-player game. I don't know if they have a solo variant. Also, there's some expansions in the box that you can put in. I haven't done that yet because I'm really concentrating on just the basic rules. There's a lot of rules involved, so it's basically better to play the basic game first and get that all in your mind, and then you can start playing the expansion parts of the game. But that's Feast of Odin. I hope you enjoyed that part. If you have any questions about the game, please, like I said before, on the comment section, just send me some comments and I will reply to you. Thanks a lot. All right, number 7. Number 7 is Scythe. This is from Stonemaier Games again. It's another good game from Stonemaier. This game is a alternate reality of 1920s where you have mechs and there's 5 factions, and they you now have to 5 players, and you're basically trying to beat everyone. You're getting all 6 stars on your star things here. You have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 objectives you can do. You can also get all your mechs. You get your recruits done, and get all your workers on the board. Do your objective. Win 2 combats. Get all the way to 18 on your heart, or 16 on your attacking. There are a bunch of things that happen. First of all, we have these cards here. This is dealing with replayability. We shuffle these cards and then we pick one, and this is basically the one that gives you a specific objective during the end of the game. And this one is any ocean space next to a monument. Right, you have all your special houses. You have a house, one of these houses on your board. That's your going to be your armory, or your monument, or your mine, or your mill. You place those next to one of these lake spaces, then you get a point. So if you get up to, it looks like if you have one of your houses next to more than a total of 7, you get 9 points at the end of the game. 4 or 5 ocean space next to a house, you get 6. 2 to 3, 4, and 1 is 2. Okay, so that's basically what that says. So you pick one of these, but you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different objectives there that you will use for one of those for one of the games. Then you have these cards here. You shuffle these, and depending on you have these markers that go on the board, and if you land on one of those spaces, you get to take that and pick a card, and it will tell you, give you an event of a counter of some kind, and you get to pick from 3 options. And there's a bunch of cards. I mean, this is a bunch of replayability here. Okay. Also, we have objectives, and you basically get to pick 2. All you need is to do one of them, and you get one of your stars. So there's a bunch of cards, a bunch of different objectives. You shuffle these, and we give you 2 to each person. All right, and then we have our combat cards used for combat, and we use this here. So you would basically use your numbers here plus your combat cards, and you place those face down, and depending on who you're attacking, you're going to pick your score for each one of these, and you're going to put your get your card, put it over that, and then flip it over so nobody sees it. And when you're ready to attack, you flip them over and see who wins the combat. Whoever wins the combat gets that space. So that's the attack portion of it. You also have a bunch of stuff here. You start with 2 workers. So your 2 workers are going to go to your 2 spaces next to your character, a miniature. And that's where you're going to get your resources. So like for here, this guy, he's going to get food plus a worker if he does his production. And you have a bunch of actions here. You use your pawn here. You can only do one action per turn, but then you would have to go to a different space and do another action. So you can pick any of those other 4 after you do the one. You can't do the same one twice. There's some exceptions when it comes to specific sects. They will have a special ability. I think Russia, you can stay on the same space. It's the only group that can stay in the same action space more than once. Okay, and then also you have the little cubes here. You can take them off and bring them over here to reduce the amount of resources you need for your upgrades. And there's a bunch of other stuff here. You just maneuver stuff around. You get these, you put these over here. You get these. You can pick and choose which one of these you want. And then every time you do a deployment of a mech, you will get a gold. So basically, you move that, and you also get extra gold for that. There's all these different ones. These are your recruits. These are your houses. And then these are your upgrades. You would take these and bring them down here to upgrade. And then whenever these workers, you can add more workers to the thing. You just take a worker out, place on a space that has a worker, and you keep going on. The mechs are used for attacking purposes. And when you get those, you basically place them next to a worker, and then you can move around the board. The other objective is getting to this factory that will give you factory cards, and there's a lot of strategy involved. You don't want to keep workers by themselves, mainly because they do not have any combat value. So just keep that in mind. This game is amazing. It takes around 2 to 3 hours to play with a full count, but it is a decent game. I love the tracking system of this. Tracking, you get your little stars, you put them on here. Depending on what you're doing, you have your little option. Everybody has a different ability. You try to use that as much as possible. Everybody has a different attack value, so you're going to place your guys different colors out, and you're going to put it on the tracks also. So, for example, this guy has a 3 hearts, so he would start at 3 hearts. Not everybody's going to start at 3 hearts. You're going to get 6 gold to start. You're going to get 2 cards, objective cards. Your attack value will be 5, and you get no battle cards. But this guy, his special ability is once per turn you may spend 1 combat card as if it were any resource token. So basically you could pick a resource using a combat card. So this guy is more for resources than combat mostly. So that's how you would play that character. Or you want to get as many resources as you can to build stuff and get your houses out and so forth. But otherwise, this is an overview of Scythe. There's a lot more to it. This is one of the main games that I would probably put on my top solo games, mainly because Stonemaier Games does have a good Anima system that they use for most of their games. I think they also use for Wingspan. They have it for viticulture. They have it for this one. Stonemaier Games is really good for solo games. Most of the games are pretty cool. But this has a lot of variety, a lot of replayability. I think some of the cons are though some of the sects are a little stronger than others. I found Russia it's been really strong. Most of the time when somebody plays Russia, they win the game. So you really need to. There's certain boards that you cannot play with the Russian, and there's also I think another sect that you can only play a certain card. So you have to keep that in mind when you go through the instructions and setup. They will tell you exactly which ones you cannot play to make that, because they'll make that guys too strong. And then you also have there are expansion sets for this. I don't have any of those yet. I like playing it just the basic game, but they do have a few. And they also have another game. It's a card game based on Scythe that's supposed to be really good. But I haven't even played that one yet either. But this is Scythe, and this is my number 7. So any questions on Scythe for you guys, you can either look at the playthrough that I have, or you can send it on a combat comment, and I will reply to you guys. Hi everyone, this is number 6. This is Clank Legacy Acquisition Incorporated. I haven't included Clank as one of my top 10, mainly because this one I like much better. This is a legacy game, and what a legacy game means, it improves every single time you play. If you look at the board, some of the stuff is empty. It hasn't been filled in yet. So there's a story involved in this game. Every time you go and you do a specific scenario, and for example, right now we're in the overworld, and we did underworld. So number 5. So now we're going to be doing number 6. So basically, it tells us go to prologue 80. So we have to go to our book of secrets, and we have a book of secrets book that will tell us how to set up that game. And whatever decals we need, we have a decal book, we have some punch boards, we have patron cards, and we even got an envelope that we can't open until they tell us. But this is pretty awesome. The story is pretty cool. It's kind of funny. There's some little comedy there, and it's basically every time you score, you do your scores every time, and you add those up. Right now, Stub, that's Justin, my nephew's character, is kind of in the lead. He's won 3 games out of it. I've won 1, and Clara, Charlie's character, is 1-1. So that's that's Cisco's, and then Justin's character. So we're basically on number 6 now, but we got 2-side board here. So right now, some of this stuff wasn't even filled in. We had to put stickers on, and we also added new cards to the deck. We have a card emporium, and we still have a lot of cards in here that we haven't used yet. So they're inside this box here. We use money to purchase cards. We also have spirits, and we have some other things that I think we haven't played these yet. The purple ones. We had to find out what they're for. Like the regular Clank game, we have a bag for our Clank, and everybody adds their Clank to the board when we go through it. These are the black ones. These are the dragon ones that come out. But every time we make Clank, make noise, this thing will move, this will cause a dragon attack where he'll pick. We'll start with 4 players. We'll have 2. We'll pull 2 cubes out of the bag. So if they have any Clank that's on here from the different players' colors, then we will be adding that to our lifeline. And if you go all the way to the bottom, go all the way to the top, you lose. You have to be the midpoint to get back here to count any victory points. If you're below this point and you die, you will lose. You don't get any points at all. So that's not a good thing. And we also have a lot of tokens that we use for the place out. That's on the board. We always set all that up first. And we always start at our headquarters every time. So we will go down, grabbing artifacts. Normally you get 1 artifact, and you pick an artifact up, and then your opportunity to go back to get your points. And the whole object is get the most victory points as possible. And the way you get victory points is from cards that you purchase during the adventure, also from artifacts or any type of things you find inside the dungeon. So it's pretty interesting. Everybody has their own little box, and you also have an associated status thing where you pick, if you do something that you fill this thing in, and you get to put a check mark out. So that's basically how that works. And then if you get to a point where there's a number, you go to that on the Book of Secrets and you read it and see what happens. But it changes every time, and the story is amazing. And as soon as this is over, when we get done with the whole story, then we can play this like a regular Clank game, just like my other Clank game I have. And I know they're coming out with a second part of the Acquisition Incorporated. That's going to be awesome, and I want to purchase that one too. This game is amazing. I love the Acquisition Incorporated Legacy game. It's very good. The way they set it up, and the story is funny. Everything's great. The pros, like I said, the story, the components are awesome. The mechanisms is great. And you don't know what to expect. You know, it's kind of like the story unfolds, and sometimes it's good for you, sometimes it's bad for you. So, you know, it's kind of exciting to play the game, find out what's next. The only con that I could say is sometimes it takes, you have the story, it drags on maybe somewhat, and you have to read the story to set up certain things. You may have to do a lot of decals, so it's maybe a little bit of stop play during the game. My brother-in-law doesn't like that. He would rather play the game and just go all the way through. He doesn't like the story thing. I enjoy it. My nephew Justin loves it. I don't know if Cisco likes it that much, but I'm really into the story-driven games. I really love those games, like Daenerys Adventures and Seventh Continent and Sleeping Gods and so forth. And we'll go more into those later. But this is one of my favorite, number 6, and I think that's pretty much it. And it uses the same rules as Clank. There are a lot of different rules here when it comes to certain things. Oh, and another good thing is, one thing I want to bring up is the rules change, because you have a rule book, and when you start, some of the rules are missing. So, like for example here, this one's missing still. R19 is missing. We don't know what that is. We put stickers on here to put things. Sometimes there's ones missing off the stickers. We have to fill those in. So there's still a lot of stuff that we haven't even come across yet. Even in the front of the book, we still haven't come across yet. So hopefully, pretty interesting, man. We have like 2 here. We also have a track here that's bad for us. So if we go to the next one, we'll read that. But otherwise, it's an ever-changing game, and that's what I like about it. It's not boring. It's a really exciting game, and I love it. If you get to purchase it, this is a great game to play with 4 players. Great game to play with 3 players, 2 players. One player can't really play with 1 player. I recommend you play with 4 because you have 4 characters. And the more people you play, I think it's a lot more fun that way. You're also, it makes it harder to get stuff. A little more competition. But otherwise, it's a decent game, and I hope you guys get a chance to play this. It's really awesome. Clank is a really good game too. It's just not, you don't have any changes. There are a lot of expansions for Clank if you want to add things to it. That will give you a little more replayability. I do have that too. That's what I started with. But the Acquisition Incorporated, the Legacy part, and Clank is probably my favorite. So, awesome. So let's go to number 5 next. Well, number 5, Terraforming Mars by Stronghold Games. This game is unusual. This is a game that the objective is you're a group of voyagers, a corporation. You're going to be a corporation, and your whole objective is to get the corporation has to be the one that makes the most victory points at the end of the game, while developing Mars, terraforming it. The one good thing about this game is every card is different. Every card that you have in the deck is different. You have different color cards. You have different effects. Everyone's somewhat elaborate. On the card, it tells you exactly what it does. And you have resources. And you have this resource board that you would, you have heat, you have energy, you have your growth, you have your money, you have, I think this is, it's kind of a construction, and this is your uranium or whatever else it is. This is mining. So, and then this is like uranium or something like that. So you're basically starting from, everybody starts at 20, and you have 20 currency, and it depends on what, it's 20 victory points, 20 victory points. There's a way that this will go back and forth, that's why you start at 20, depending on that. What I recommend when you start playing, they have a beginning corporation that gives you 42 gold and then 10 cards. So you start with 42 currency instead of choosing from 10 cards during setup. You get 10 cards for free. All right, so then you can decide on what you want to do. Now this is let me verify this, make sure this is right. Yeah, 1 to 5 players can play this game. There are a total of 233 cards, bunch of tiles, 200 resource markers, 200 player markers, and a game board and rules booklet. Okay. Now, Terraforming Mars, you can also pick from different corporations. So when you get used to playing this game with the beginning corporations, you can decide, oh, we're going to do a variable corporation. So you shuffle these cards and everybody grabs one, gets one, and then uses that corporation instead. And it's got its own special abilities, where it starts at, what currency it starts at, what action you have. You may have an action on your card that you can use, and some ability. So that is a lot of replayability there too. So it depends on which game you play. You may play a different corporation next time. Plus all the cards, you never need to use all those cards during the game. It's almost impossible. All right, and each card costs you a certain amount of currency, so you have to be very and resources sometimes. And whatever you place down in your for your corporation, you're gonna have a bunch of cards, and you're gonna have a bunch of icons. Well, the icons can be used for that too. It's kind of like Ark Nova. Ark Nova kind of has that. We'll talk more about Ark Nova in a bit, but it's you have different icons that you can use for a person that you need required for other cards that you have to do. There's certain cards you can only do at a certain amount of turns, or a certain amount of oxygen, or a certain amount of temperature. So it depends on all that. We also have awards and milestones that you can use and get more points that way. You also have basic actions here on the board. So there's a lot of things you can do. You have to pick and choose which way you're going to be playing this game. If you go too much into everything, you're not going to do very good. So you have to really narrow down on something and say, this is what I want to do. Okay, the first few games, it's just like with Beast of Odin, it's going to be a learning in progress. But when you get to start playing this game, you're really going to enjoy it, and you want to play again to try and improve. So, pros. First of all, replayability is major on this game. Just like with Talisman, all these games in the top 10 I got a lot of replayability. You have a lot of components here that you will place on the board here, and you get extra bonuses there. When you place the tiles, oceans, you got your land, you got your special locations, And then you're gonna add, these are the things for your resources. You're gonna add, these are your like 1s, these are your 5s, and this is your 10s. Okay? So, and then you have a bunch of reference cards you can use. There's 4 total, and it'll explain, if you have somebody who's just beginning the game, give them those cards so they can basically follow along, and also gives you specifics about specific tiles. It gives you specifics about general info, and then game in and scoring. So it will help them out with it. It also gives you your phases. For example, turnover phase for player moves clockwise 1 step. Research phase, buy cards to hand at 3. Currency, choose from 4. And then take turns during 1 or 2 actions. And then you get to so you get to take 1 or 2 actions depending on the card here. And then you have your production phase where you get all your resources. So it's amazing game when it comes to the gameplay. Now, the con about this game, and this is one of the complaints that everybody complains about when they made this game. I do not like the mats, and they do. You can purchase these things, the overlays that go on top, so these things can go in little squares and they don't move. But they should have fixed that up beforehand. The art is okay. It's okay. I would like the better quality mats, better quality, maybe a board that's a little more artistic. Made the resources maybe different. A lot of that is just the artistic part of it. The gameplay is really awesome, but the artistic part of the game I do not really enjoy much. But the cards are awesome. The abilities you get are awesome. All that stuff is pretty cool. The gameplay, all the mechanics are good, except the artistic and the boards you use. That's the only complaint I really have with this game. Otherwise, I love it. Okay, I love this game. It's really cool. I know they have some expansions that I haven't got them, but they should probably add some more aspects to the game that I haven't seen yet. But it is still one of my top games, number 5. I mean, I really like this game when I play with my nephews. I haven't played with my brother-in-law. I didn't play with my sister yet. It's a little complicated. I don't know if my brother-in-law would like it. Maybe he would enjoy it, but he hasn't played with us yet. So, but otherwise, that's Terraforming Mars for you. I really like the cards. And mechanics are great. The gameplay is exciting. Trying to beat everybody is exciting. There's things you can do to the other people that cause them trouble. It's kind of cool. All that stuff I like. I like, hey, I just pounded you. Took all your growth. I took all it off. You can't do any growth this turn. I'm like, yeah. You can't make a land tile. I got him. So it's kind of exciting. So that's Terraforming Mars. Alright, so let's go to number 4. Number 4 is Voidfall by Mindclash Games. This game you can do either solo, competitive, or cooperative. And you can do, it depends on how many players are playing. So you can set up a scenario for solo, and that'd be considered a kind of a cooperative game against the Voidfall. You could play a 2-player game, either competitive or cooperative. We'll talk more about that when cooperative. We're talking about competitive games today, so that's what I'm going to do. And then you have 3-player and 4-player. Now, the first thing I want to bring up about this game is if you purchase this game, I'm just warning you, I talked about this in the video. It takes a while to set this game up. You get all these plastic containers, they're empty. So you have to put everything together. It takes around 5 to 6 hours to do it. But as soon as you do that, it gets it's more easier to set the game. All right, this has a lot going on, but it's amazing. It's an amazing game. You have fallen houses that people that have fallen due to the Voidfall that are attached to the universe that you're going through. And these are the little sector spots, and there are different types of sectors. You have your home planets, you have your other type of special tiles, and then you have your basic ones. All right, and there's a bunch of rules when it comes to attacking. There's a whole bunch of stages you go through for each cycle, and you have 3 cycles total. Where you go through, and with the competitive game, you're trying to get the most victory points by the end. There are a bunch of cards called agenda cards that can give you more victory points depending on if you accomplish those agendas. You also get victory points if you go all the way to the end of the some of these tracks that you're going to be doing. And you also get victory points from defeating the Voidfall or defeating another character in their sectors. So it's pretty amazing. The different type of people that you can do. You have all these guys, and so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 total of different ones. There's 4 basic where you can start out with just to get the gist of the game. They do have an introductory game that you can play. I think I have that on my channel already. I'm going to link those up too. Show you, I have a setup video. I also have the introductory, and I think I also did a solo cooperative one that I played. I lost that one for sure. It beat crap out of me, cooperative wise. Competitive, there's no solo competitive, so you would have to have 2 to 3 or 4 players to play that. But it's awesome, man. It's an awesome game. I think the cooperative games are a lot harder and more challenging because you you have a separate board, and we'll talk more about that when we talk about cooperative games. But I think this is one of the #1 cooperative games in my stash. I think it's one of my favorites. Competitive, it's good. I like it. Haven't got to play the regular scenarios yet. I'm hoping to play them with my nephew soon, competitive wise, and see how that goes. The more plays you have, the more tiles you have, the more I think it's going to make that game last a bit longer, depending on what goes on. But the replayability of this game is awesome because you have different cycles, and you have all these cards for cycle 1, and depending on which one you get, you're gonna pick and choose. So, like for example, I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different cards, and you only pick 1 for each cycle. So your game can change. It could be different every time, and it depends on what house you get. Because you have 15 houses, it's going to change. So replayability is major in this game. There's a lot of aspects of the game that you have to do with the. You have technologies, you have resources that you need to spend to get certain things. Combat's cool. You also have different tokens you can get to get more resources. And the whole point is to get victory points. And they have a whole thing, one just to keep track of your victory points. And everybody has different cards, and you're gonna have a bunch of action cards. It's some generic, but every house, except for the general houses, will have different cards you replace with those, and everybody's gonna have different abilities. If you use, get away from the general ones. But I recommend you use the general ones first to get the gist of the game. Maybe play a few games with the general, and then go into the other houses that you can do. But the pros, like I said, is replayability is one. The components you get the deluxe version are really cool. The ships are really cool. The big ones, for example, pretty awesome. You got like little stands. You place them on the board. They're really cool looking. You color these if you want. Paint them. All the Voidfall stuff is really cool. The cards are decent. The art is really good for the different sects. Even the tracking is awesome. And then you have your fleet power that you put in here. You got cubes. Everybody has 14 cubes total to do that. And then you have a bunch of different scenarios you can do. And complexities. So if you're starting out, you want to have a lowest complexity. If you get used to it, you can do more. All right, and it depends on which classic events you can be doing, and which technology you can be. You have technologies also that you put in the thing, and build up your guys and get different ships and so forth. Really awesome game. I think the only con of this game, well, there's two. First thing, to set the game, it takes some time. Because you have to set the board, you have to set up all the cards, make sure everything's set up correctly before you start. Getting all the technologies, they're all sorted out through the different houses, so you have to look for them. That is the only major thing, I think, that takes a long time. Another thing is, if you have someone who hasn't played this game before, it may take them a long time to decide what action card they're going to use during that first cycle. And the action cards you get per cycle is a bunch. So if somebody says, "Oh, I don't know, do this one," it may take them 5 minutes before they decide to do their turn. And then they have to do their turn doing 2 actions or 3 actions, and it may take a little while. That's all. It's maybe some downtime there, but otherwise, I love the game. I like the mechanisms. I like the components on this game. They came out with really good components. The rules and the aspects are kind of realistic in a way, because you have to get resources to build certain ships. You have to have resources to build certain technologies and so forth. So it's pretty realistic. I love the space thing. Always like that, and amazing game. I'm glad I got this game. It's pretty good. But like I said, putting the game together, it takes a while. It's a few hours, 6 hours. Get everything organized, and then when you set up the first scenario, well, the introduction scenario is not that hard, but when you start setting different scenarios out, it may take a little while. With less people, it doesn't take as long. If you have a full group of 4, it's going to be a big map, and you have to have enough table space. That's another thing. You have enough table space to fit everything. Your mats, your map, all the stuff you need for the game to play. So, but the good thing is they have these containers that you don't have to take stuff out. You just keep all the stuff in there. When you're ready to grab something, you just grab it out of the container. So it's pretty cool. What else? That's it. That's Voidfall for you. And if you want to see how it's played, just look at the link under my description. I will have those links in there for this game, so you can watch it. All right, so that is Voidfall. So let's go to our next one. I think that's number 3, right? Yep, number 3. Well, the third one we have is Dune Imperium by Legendary Games. This one is based on the Dune movies, and are basically different houses and a lot of characters involved in there. We have each one's got a special ability. So basically each player, 4 players, can play a specific house. And the basic game basically is this here. We get a bunch of cards, and with the 2 expansion sets, and it comes with Dune Immortality and Rise of X. It comes with the Dreadnoughts, and those are a little more powerful weapon than just your normal armies. But the object is to get to 10 points. And whoever gets to 10 points, we do one more round, and specifically whoever gets the most points at the end wins the game. There's ways of moving these tracks. You get to the top of these, you get so you get the most influence. You get the bonus of that specific house, and you would move these tracks by going in one of these spaces here. The way you do that is by the cards you play. Normally, this is also a card building game. So basically, you have your starting cards. And then we have these cards randomly out, and you would pay for them via your influences, all the blue colored things on your cards. This game, when I first got it, it was just amazing. Just the basic set was amazing. The way it's sensed, because you have so much tension, and all the different houses have their own beliefs. It gives you the sense of how Dune universe is, and wow, it's just amazing. And then when I got the 2 expansion sets, you have Dreadnoughts, you have an overlay that goes over this part for the landmark. Langsword Council, and this goes here, and this will give you more benefits. You also have a space. The research station gets changed. So you have a microscope, and that's what this comes in effect for the Ben Telex, and you basically scroll over this track and also on this track, and specifically how you get your microscopes, you will move this, and this will go, you have 2 ways of doing it. You can pick the green cubes, and there are cards that have the green cubes that you can purchase with the green cubes. You basically put them in a supply, and then you spend them. And you keep going all the way to the end, and you can get victory points via that. So the more victory points you have, faster you get through this. There's also the battle part of the game where you would use the conflicts, and you will battle every conflict, every round. You'll have a conflict, and whoever wins gets the number 1 bonus, and it's usually 1 victory point. And then you also get the intrigue cards that will help you with attacking. They may also help you with other things, give you victory points at the end of the game, may help you with more armies and so forth. So it really, every aspect of this game kind of helps. A little more secretive stuff that you bring out during a battle or being try to harm one of the other players' houses. You also have technology you can get for bonuses for you to put on your specific house. You have those available, and you can refresh those every round. Basically the resources you would use is water, your money, currency, and of course spice. That's basically how the dunes go. The one thing, pros of this game is replayability. On all the games that I've talked about so far, there's replayability. The artwork is awesome. The amount of different actions you can do is awesome. You maneuvering your deck. This is a really good deck building game. You can move around. Picking certain cards will benefit you in the long run. And when you start playing this game at first, it's kind of, how you can maneuver these cards around. You have to get after a few games, you get, okay, this card is beneficial for this, and so forth. So each game you get stronger and stronger. What else? Anything else I can think of? The dreadnoughts are a lot stronger than your regular armies. You only have a certain amount of armies you can use. You put them in reserve. You circles here, and then when you're ready to attack, you start piling them up in the center, and whoever has the most armies at the end wins the battle, and then those go away and put in your supply again. So I think building your deck is the most important thing here. There's a lot of stuff involved in this game. If you saw my video on my channel, I explained a lot of this stuff, but I don't want to go into much of it. But this is like one of the games. The one thing I like about this game, it doesn't take too long. You can play this numerous times, and you never get tired of it. I never get tired of this game. Plus, it's a little shorter than most of the other games I have. So a lot of people like to play it because it's very easy to set up, not very difficult to play, very easy to take down. So there's a lot of pros to this game, and the way they made it, the mechanism was very awesome. Whoever decided on this was a genius. It does resemble the conflict and the intensity of the battles and the political intrigue that you would get with anything to the Dune universe. And this game is not that expensive, and if you buy the basic set, it's good enough. Try it out. Then you can try the 2 expansions with it. I really love using all 3 expansions of this game. This is just like with Talisman, I think it complements the game and makes it more interesting. So, and I think my nephews love it also. But otherwise, that's Dune for you. That's the number 3 game that I love. So let's go to number 2, and we'll get to number 1, and we're done with our top 10. So let's go to number 2 and see what we got. All right, our second, and before our number 1 game comes up, is Mage Knight. This is one of my favorite competitive games. This is also kind of like Voidfall. It does have cooperative versions and also solo. So you can play it in all those 3. This one is basically an exploration via also a deck building game, because you start with a character and it's got its own cards, starting cards. Okay, each one has pretty much the same type of starting cards. You have a character thing. You also have some markers, a turn order, and some skills in here for each individual character, whichever you pick. The skills are different compared to all the different characters. We do have some expansions in this game. Lost Legend, Krang, and Shades of Tesla. And also, I am getting the Kickstarter, the Dragon expansion that's coming to this. This is one of my favorite and my nephew's favorite games to play. And even my sister loves playing this game. There's a lot to it, but basically we start with a basic tile where we would decide which we use an A or B side. These are the first tiles that come up. And each scenario tells you how many of these we take, how many of these brown ones we take, and also how many cities that we take. And it depends on which scenario you're doing. They all have different rules and stuff. We also have crystals that we use for specific powers that we have on our cards. And they range from black, green, blue, white, red, and yellow. I don't have it shown here, but they're also on the dice. The dice, what we do is, how many players are playing? We're playing 2 players or 3 players. We have, I will say 3 players. We would have 5 dice. So we take 5 dice, and the rest would go into the supply somewhere where we have them set aside. But then we'd roll these dice, and these will go on this board. Now we have day and night, so anytime you get a black, they get taken away, they're not going to be used. So you would have total 4 dice to use. And every time somebody takes a dice, they use it on one of their cards, and then they would re-roll it, and they would put it right back here. And the next person does his turn, they have all 4 dice. Or they may, if they get a black one, it'll go right here onto the, it won't be used. And same with night. If a yellow one would come up, that would go away because it's nighttime. Every round we do specific cards for day and night, and it's got numbers on them 1 through 6. And whichever ability you use for that round, I should say for the round, you will have available. And every round, and this will determine who goes first. So the lower number will go first. We also have wounded cards that will clutter our hands. All right, so we got those cards. We also have other cards that will build our hands. We have our advanced skills. We have spells that we can put in our hand, and we also have artifacts. We also will start getting allies, and the gold ones are the more powerful ones. And we also have the basic ones here, and you only get, when you start out, you can only have one ally, and then when you start upgrading on this board, you'll add more allies out. And I think you can get a total of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 allies total of shields, but I never seen you get that far. Okay, we also have, like I said, expansions. We still have all this stuff that we can still use in the game. We haven't even started using this stuff yet. A lot of material. A lot of replayability. Very exciting. They have little miniatures for the characters, and they're all already painted. Kind of nice. And then we also have miniatures for all the cities. We have 4 different type cities. We have green, red, yellow, and white. So, and every scenario is different. When we start out with 2, and then we just put them face up like this. And whatever comes up, and we set up with this, how we have to set up our map, we would basically take, look to see what we have on the thing. We have a castle, so we would put that there. We also have orcs armies, so they get flipped over. And you have stuff that you can do, and by attacking them, you get fame points, and that's how you increase your score and also your level. Really awesome game. A lot of different cards to maneuver, make yourself more powerful. You could also, during a competitive game, you can battle against your opponents that are playing on the scenario. You could battle against them. or you just start attacking all the monsters out on the board and conquer mage castles. You can conquer strongholds. Go to a there's places where you can get crystals, ruins, all types of locations, and all locations have their own little card. If you don't remember it, it gives you the specific actions and so forth on each of these cards. So it's kind of good, helps out with that, so you don't have to remember everything. And this is a very, I mean, it's a pretty awesome game. It's also the pros of this game is a lot of replayability. I love the tokens. I love the maneuvering around the crystals and the power of the cards, and advancing yourself, getting reputation. You get more, so you can get more allies and better allies by adding, because you can go up to plus 5 influence. You can use the cards in different ways to do influence or attacking, or this. And the combat's pretty cool because you have your range attacks, you have your defense, and then you have your regular attack. You know, so if you looked at my video before, it explains all that. But it's a great game. I love it. My nephews, like I said, love it. It's one of my favorite games of all time so far, except for Talisman's #1. I mean, I have to say, I don't play much because it takes a while, but to play it. But I really like that game. Mage Knight I love, and #1 game we have is one of my favorite games. So we'll get into that in a second. But the cons, like any other game that you had to take turns, and may have some type of time where you're just sitting there waiting. It's recommended while you're waiting for your turn, figure out what your next move's going to be, look at your cards, see what you want to do, and be ready when your turn comes up, because it makes it easier for everyone else. You get your turn done, boom, next person goes. It just keeps going around in a circle. If you wait till the last minute to do it, it's really gonna cause people like, oh, you got to wait for this guy. So in any game that you have like that, you need to start thinking ahead to help the game flow not be so boring and tedious and all that stuff. So just think about that when you play these type of games. But that's my #2. But more pros and cons. I love this game again, and that's #2. So let's go to our #1 game. Well, this is #1, Ark Nova by Fruiterland. This is my favorite game of all time. This comprises of all the games I play competitively, using cards, different objectives, placing things on a map. It's got everything. It's amazing, and you got a variety of actions to do. So for example, you are a zoo owner, and the object is to make the best zoo possible. And the way you do that is collect fame points, and you also do conservation projects, and get other countries to be partners, so you can bring other animals over to your zoo to help them give some new animals and bring into the different countries so they can survive. It's basically, you start out with 2 objectives. Like for example, if I would have picked these 2, I would have gain conservation points for water icons in your zoo. So any icons I have on any of my cards that have water, up to 8, I get up to 4 points at the end of the game. Conservation Zoo, gain conservation points for supporting conservation projects. So at a maximum of 6 conservation projects I support, I get 4 more points. So that'd be a total of 8 conservation points. Now conservation points, there's not as many spaces for conservation points. I think there's a total of 41. In fame points, there's a total of 113. So just think, to get around the board, the end of the game is to take both markers from your fame and the conservation point, and they cross. As soon as they cross, we have one more opportunity to do another turn, and then we figure out all our points. Okay, so that's basically how it works. And there are a lot of cards. These are all the cards right now. They do have an expansion out for aquatic animals. I haven't got that yet. I really want to get it. So that'd be interesting. And then you also have reputation on here. So you could pick cards from these specific spaces. Each action has its own card, and you start with level 1 cards. There's a way on the board to upgrade them. But when you put them over, they're more powerful, and you can get up to 4 out of 5 of your cards can be upgraded. And one of them is not going to be upgraded at the end of the game. So you have to pick and choose of which ones you want. You start out with 25 gold, you get 1 X that will give you an extra power, and you also get an association worker to do an association project, association action on the association board. All right, these are all conservation projects that would be available to everyone. And when you complete one of these, you place one of your cubes on it, and you can only do 1 of each of these, except if you have a card that states that you can do more than 1. Okay, then also on the top of the association board, you have personal conservation projects that you will get in the deck here that you can provide and make more points that way. Okay, and that's just one thing that helps you produce points. Another thing is you want to fill out your board. The more you fill out, you need to have specific enclosures to put animals in. So before you can put animals in, you have to purchase enclosures to put around in this area here. And there's different icons that if you cover them, you get bonuses. There's also type 2 icons that you cannot place on your map till you get the build action to a red. So, and there's other places on this this playing board that you can't do, and also on your mat that you can't do if you don't upgrade that specific action to a type 2. All right, so there's a lot of things you're going to do. So you need to generalize, and the first thing you should look at when you start is always look at your beginning objectives, because this is what you want to work on. This is you're going to figure out which one of these is easier for you to work on when you get your first initial cards. All right, and it goes. There's no specific rounds in this game. It goes. You do an action, the next person does action, and then the next person does an action, another person does an action. It keeps going around, and it's pertaining to a break. There's a break system in here where if you do an action that has a break 2 or a break with an X on it, it says, okay, you're on power action 4, then you get 4 break. You're going to move this coffee cup, and this will basically cause the round to end, and then you do some stuff. Everybody's going to do it together, and then we'll reset the round back to the beginning. And we keep going around again till somebody crisscrosses their 2 tracks, their fame and their conservation, and that will cause the end of the game to happen. All right. So there's a lot of things that pertain to this game. I'm not going to go into detail, but it's amazing how many things you can do on this in this game. It's like managing your own zoo. It's freaking great. I love this game. My nephews like it. My brother-in-law likes it. My sister likes it. And this is one of my most enjoyable games. It's one that I always want to improve every time I play it. So that is Ark Nova. Wow, this is just amazing game. It's got great pictures of all, and somewhat they have art on here. It's pretty nice. They have the animals. Also, they have sponsors cards. You have sponsor cards. You also have conservation projects inside this deck. You don't know what you're going to be getting. There's a lot of rules involved. Check out my film for Ark Nova. It's really good explanation of how it works and how we set the game up and all that stuff. The setup is not that hard. So let's go through the pros and cons. The pros, there's a lot of pros. Replayability of this game. You're never going to have the same game you're going to get. You're going to get a random card, a map. When you first start playing this game, if you purchase it, please use the basic maps first to try to get the gist of it. You get a few extra things when you start. Follow the rules rulebook, and it will tell you use these maps first. As soon as you get used to all the gameplay and everything that's evolves in this game, then you can go into the more complicated maps, and then you guys can choose what map you want just by randomly taking one and take the flip side, either one of the sides that you want to do, and then set up your board. Replayability is amazing. The art's good. The mechanics is amazing. The game mechanics of this game is amazing. Whoever made this game up really knew about the zoo stuff and how it works, and getting sponsors, getting partner zoos, they put all that together, and donations from people that donate to the zoo. The different animals. Some of the animals need to be living by water. There's also pertaining to that on your map. You have to put an enclosure next to water, or it needs to be near rocks, one or the other. There's other things in the zoo that, like sky rails and playgrounds, so forth, to upgrade your zoo to give you more fame points or more reputation points. There's so many things, man. It's just amazing. Let's see. So the only thing is on this game, it does take a long time. If you play a full group of 4, you're looking to 5 to 6 hours gameplay. So this is a game that you would want to play, spend time with your family or friends, have food, have drinks, and just enjoy the game. Don't worry about the time. This is the game that you may just bring out every month or every few weeks. Me, I love this game so much. I play it every time we go. I don't play it every time we go to my sister's house, but it's maybe every other time I bring it. But this is my #1 favorite competitive game. Now, I'm not saying this is my favorite overall game. This is my favorite #1 competitive game. So I hope this makes sense. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please hit that subscribe button. We will be doing Robin Hood next on our next video, and I'm hoping that you enjoyed the top 10 video for competitive games. I hope you guys, whichever games you kind of liked, hope you get them and enjoy them just as much as I have. I guess I'll say good night, and I will see you on the second part of Robin Hood very soon. So take care and have a great week.